Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom to you, and welcome to my pre-Shabbat video this week for Shabbat Parshat Eikev. You know, the entire book of Devarim, when compared with the first 4 books of the Torah, has a unique character, a personality that is entirely its own. In the other 4 books, the laws of Judaism are expressed in more or less a legal form, and the accompanying narrative is factual in nature. But Devarim is completely different. It is full of sweeping sentimentality. It appeals to the heart and to the soul. Let me give you an example. The words Leiv and Nefesh, heart and soul, appear more often in Devarim than in all the other books of the Torah combined. We are told to uplift our hearts and our souls and to give of ourselves emotionally, to experience Torah ecstatically, to feel it personally and intimately. In fact, the one word that best characterizes the book of Devarim is the Hebrew word ahava, love. We have to do more than just obey God and do the things He tells us to do. We also have to love Him. We have to experience His presence with our deepest emotions. For example, we are told, V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, you must love the Lord your God. In Eikev we are told, Ma Hashem Elokecha doresh mimach. What does God want from you? Ki'im, the only thing He wants is lahava oto, to love Him. All you need to do is love God, says Moshe Rabbeinu. But just in case you think that this is merely flamboyant sentimentalism and gaudy rhetoric, let me quickly correct you. Ahavat Hashem, the love of God, is a full-fledged mitzvah. It is recorded as a commandment in the halakha. Yes, it's a guiding principle of Jewish life. We are commanded to love God. But that's a bit of a problem. I mean, the idea that we are commanded to love is very puzzling. And not just puzzling for us, by the way. Maimonides and other Jewish philosophers were puzzled by it too. They all ask a simple but pointed question. How can you possibly command someone to love? Love is an emotion, a deep emotion. You can't instruct someone to love. You can tell people to walk or eat or not eat, or to speak or not speak, but you can't tell someone to love. That's impossible. So what's going on? Perhaps one of the most beautiful answers given to this question is the one offered by the Sfass Emess, the Ger Rebbe. Only a Chassidish Rebbe could come up with such an answer, and yet it must be true. It is an answer which gives us a key to understanding the entire book of Devarim. The Sfass Emess says that the question itself offers a clue to the answer. Since you cannot command love where it does not already exist, he says, and since the Torah does actually command us to love Hashem, the only logical conclusion is that there is ingrained in every Jewish heart a deep and abiding love for God. The Sfass Emess calls it a nekuda, a dot, a spark of love that is in every Jewish heart for all things Jewish. Sometimes that nekuda is very, very small, and it is covered up with rust and dirt, and it's hidden by all the other things we value in life, but it's still there. V'ahavta is the command to each and every one of us to be conscious of that nekuda and to develop this nekuda, to nurture the nekuda, to fan the spark until it becomes a flame, to magnify it, to bring it out and to fully express it. The initial spark, the nekuda, is already there. We all have it, whether we know it or not. It is just that sometimes we have to get rid of the dross and the drapes to be able to see it and to appreciate it. You know, when the famous Italian sculptor Michelangelo was working on his great statue of Moses, somebody watching him remarked, "How wonderful to watch a master at work to take a hunk of stone and make a Moses of it." But the artist turned to him and said, "You're totally mistaken. What happens is that I saw Moses inside that stone, and I'm chipping away the unnecessary parts so that you can see clearly what is already in there." With this in mind, we need never despair of the future of Torah Judaism, neither here nor in Israel. Prophets of gloom have forecast the demise of Torah Judaism for 2,000 years. But the trouble with those who write us off is that they fail to reckon with the nekuda. It may only be a tiny dot, but boy can it grow and be powerful. How often have we seen people who are so far away from Torah and then they return with a love and a devotion that is just amazing. Do you know why? because they found their nekudah. The nekudah is unpredictable, but it is always there. I want to bless you, that you find it easily, that you exploit it, and use it to its fullest. V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. You should love God, and the most important thing to remember is that God always loves you back. And after all, love conquers all. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, full of ahava, the deepest and most precious love.